What's up, everyone? My name is Misaki Kido, and I am your host for Kodansha Live. And I would like to welcome you to a special episode of featuring Clamp. So today, well, before we get to that, as you know, the holiday season is in the full blast right now, and this is kind of a magical time of the year for a lot of us. So what would be the best way to celebrate it? Then featuring the queens of manga magic, so to speak. So today, we will be talking a lot about Clamp and their magical manga series. So I hope you are ready. And let's see, I hope you stick around to the end because we have some special announcement to make this holiday season's extra special. So please stay tuned. So let's get started. Before we start going, what's Clamp? I mean, I feel like to those people who are here, like I'm already kind of preaching to a choir I'm pretty sure you guys know a lot about Clamp already. But it's Clamp is a super manga creator group, consists of 4 members, and that's Nanase Okawa, Tsubaki Nekoi, Satsuki Igarashi, and Mokona. And these creators kind of work together to bring you some of the best manga in the realm of magic and fantasy. And they have many hit series such as Cardcaptor Sakura, more OG, Magic Knight Rayearth, Tsubasa. Some of you may know them from XXXHOLiC or Chobits. Depends on what time when you got into their manga, you might recognize some of these titles as like, ooh, that's my title. Yeah, it's there. The worldview within these mangas are very intertwined, and it gets very interesting when the characters kind of meet each other in a different world. So who's better person to talk about Clamp than those people who work very hard to behind the scene to deliver these mangas to you? So today I got a chance to interview 4 editors who's been working on Clamp manga about their favorite series. So let's take a look. Oops, sorry about that.
Hello, Misaki, and thank you so much for inviting the editors to join you on today's very special edition of Kodansha Live, featuring Clamp and their series. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiff Joshua T.J. Ferrantini, Associate Editor at Kodansha Comics, and I am the editor for Cardcaptor Sakura Collector's Edition, Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, as well as Chobits 20th Anniversary Edition. When I first started reading manga 20 years ago, Cardcaptor Sakura and Chobits were the first 2 manga series I had ever read, so it is such an honor and a pleasure being able to contribute to the English localization of these 2 amazing Kodansha comics, Collector's and Anniversary Edition. As an editor, I'm responsible for not only ensuring the accuracy of translation, but for also editing our books throughout all stages of the editorial process. For our Clamp series in particular, it is especially important that we check to ensure that all of the color images from the cover to the interior color artwork match the original Japanese artwork as closely as possible. In addition, for projects such as Chobits 20th Anniversary Edition, we had the opportunity to give the series a brand new, not only translation, but to design brand new covers to commemorate the series' 20th anniversary. So this was especially fun, being able to collaborate with the translator, the letterer, the cover designer, as well as our production team to create not only new covers, but a definitive anniversary edition that both longtime and new fans of the series would enjoy. My 2 favorite Clamp series would have to be Cardcaptor Sakura and Chobits, but Chobits would probably have to be my absolute favorite. I'm so nostalgic for Cardcaptor Sakura because when I had first discovered the manga, at that point the anime had been my only exposure to the series. So when I had first read the Cardcaptor Sakura manga, it opened a whole brand new world for me. And it was the manga that allowed me to discover manga. In addition to that, not only did I love Sakura's story of being able to discover the Cloud card, Cardcaptor Sakura is also such a wonderful series full of magic, love, and friendship. And what I love so much about the series is not only Sakura's magical journey to collect all the Cloud cards, plus her really adorable battle outfits that she wore along the way, but also her friendships with her friends, Choron, and the relationships of the people around her. I'm also a bit of a sucker for romance and for love stories, which is why I especially love Chobits. Both she and Hideki are such wonderful characters who go through an amazing journey to discover not only themselves, but their love for each other, which is what I love more than anything about the series.
Hi, nice to meet you, all manga fans, and welcome to Kodansha Live. I'm Kiichiro Sugawara, the publisher for Kodansha Comics. At this time, we focus on Clamp Sensei titles, so I want to share several episodes about Clamp Sensei with you in the form of answering 3 questions. I joined Kodansha Japan in 1997, and since then, I had been working for a weekly shonen magazine, which is one of the most successful comic magazines in Japan, over 20 years. For 16 years as a comic editor and for 5 years as a chief editor. After a long time serving, I came to the US 2 years ago to work for Kodansha Comics and CU. The title I was in charge of is Tsubasa. The serialization started in 23 in Weekly Shonen Magazine and ended in 29. How were you embarked? It's a question I'd rather not answer because... at first, let me introduce a comic editor's work so that you can understand the reason. Usually, comic editors have a lot of meeting every week with authors to improve their titles by checking the storyboard, which is called name. And they give their ideas or suggestions to authors. After that, they get the manuscript from authors, finish the proofreading, and post them on their magazine. All I really did is to go to their workplace to get the manuscript and have dinner and drink all the night with Clamp Sensei. That's it. So that's why I don't want to answer that question. But it's a quality time for me because Clamp Sensei taught me how to develop good manga, the way of their thoughts on manga. Thanks to that time, I was able to become a little bit good editor. So Clamp Sensei is not only a great author, but also a great teacher of manga for me. And thanks to Tsubasa, I got to be involved with the variety of businesses, like animation business, merchandise business, overseas business, and so on. Of course, I did my best all the time to spread it all over the world. But the most memorable and successful business of them is Tsubasa Special Edition, the comic book with animation DVD. The business is very popular in Japan now, but in fact, Tsubasa is the first title introducing that business model, making it happen and leading it to huge success is my only contribution to Tsubasa. Final question is, which Clamp manga is your favorite and why? Oh my god. This is the most difficult question I have ever got. If I had to choose only one title, this is holic because there are a lot of kind of quotes that resonate with me. For example, in volume 12, Yuko-san, who is the main character in the title, she says, 自分を変えるということは世界を変えるということよ。In English, changing your world is, changing yourself is changing the world. Yeah, this is my favorite quote. So that's why my favorite title is Holic. That's about covers it. Sorry for my broken English and thank you for your catching to the end. I was in charge of a lot of titles by other authors while I was working in Japan, and so if I get a chance to tell them to you guys, I'm so looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Hi, my name is Vanessa. I'm an editor for Kodansha Comics, and the clamp title that I worked on was Clover. As editor, I focus mostly on the interior. Within this giant hardcover, there was 4 volumes for the series, and then all of the color art as well we included. So it was making sure all of that content was ready to go. Clover has a very unique storytelling style. You have a lot of non-traditional paneling, you get a lot of white space sometimes, you get these big spreads sometimes. And there's also song lyrics mixed into the dialogue. So a lot of times it was sitting and thinking like, okay, how can we, present this content in an interesting way? And so sometimes it was like making certain font choices and things like that. But in terms of the translation, we did modernize the pinyin or the Chinese words that appeared in the dialogue to give it a sort of more updated feel. And that also included updating the protagonist's name. So she reveals at one point that her name's based on the number 4, which in Chinese was Si. So we wanted to sort of capture that sort of foreign word element to it by changing the spelling from something more familiar to something a little less familiar. And we're hoping that that same effect was achieved. But yeah, overall, very rewarding experience. I think that it definitely gave me a new appreciation for this series that I hadn't had before. But my all-time favorite clamp title is still Cardcaptor Sakura. I fell in love with that as a kid. I felt like the fashion, the creatures, the characters, all of them were very imaginative. And to this day, I still find it a joy to read. And I definitely recommend it to anyone who's a fan of manga. I think, if you haven't read a clamp title yet, you're missing out on like a pretty vital experience, I think, in terms of the manga realm. So definitely pick up one of their titles if you haven't before. And yeah, it was great working on Clover. And if ever another opportunity came to work on another title, that would be really cool. Thank you.
Hello,
Good.
I'm Ben Applegate. I'm Director of Publishing Services, and I work with the editorial and production teams for the Kodansha Comics print books. I've been around for all of the recent clamp reissues, from Cardcaptor Sakura Collector's Edition through to Chobits and Clover. But I'm not an editor anymore, so at the beginning I did much of the budgeting and planning work, and at the end I did some polished proofreading, stuff like that, but I'm not directly in charge of anything. So you could say that past the initial planning phase, I felt more like a fortunate bystander who gets to watch as all these cool books get made by our fabulous translators, letterers, editors, designers, and proofreaders. But the clamp work I want to talk about today is Magic Knight Rayearth. My first encounter with Magic Knight Rayearth was in a dark video screening room in the Long Beach Convention Center at Anime Expo back in the early 2000s. At the time, I was really, really into fantasy anime, especially Escaflowne, and I liked Revolutionary Girl Utena. And sitting down to watch Rayearth for the first time, which I recognize I was kind of late on, I immediately recognized it as, a whole part of that area, and certainly a big influence. But this wasn't just a subversive reimagining or a remix. This struck me as the purest expression of shoujo action fantasy, just distilled into its essence. You've got these 3 girls, Hikaru, Umi, and Fu, who are total strangers until they meet during a school trip to that symbol of modern Tokyo, Tokyo Tower. Yeah, there's Sakura there on the front. And from there, they're whisked off to the world of Sephiroth, which I guess is what we would today call an isekai, but it doesn't seem right to call it that because it's not a power fantasy and it's not a video game. It's like so much genre fiction, it's a reflection of our world. One of the great things about Rayearth is how much work the art does in taking you to this other world. From the monsters to the wizards, the weapons, the mountains, the giant dragon robots, nothing is described in words that can be shown in a breathtaking 2-page spread instead. So this is really 2 series, Magic Knight Rayearth. It's Magic Knight Rayearth is the first one, and then there's Magic Knight Rayearth 2. Each of them are 3 volumes long, and they were released in Japan in these kind of paperback editions. I mean, there have been several editions, obviously. But these are pretty typical kind of Japanese tankobon. And there were also 2 color art books, one for each series, that were released in Japan in 1995 and 1996. They were released here starting in 2002, but they're actually very hard to find now. At least that edition is. Similarly, the manga itself has been out in a couple of different editions in the US. So we knew that we really had to kick it up a notch and give this milestone manga the treatment it deserves. So we created a new version with a fantastic new localization, new translation, new lettering, in a hardcover box set. Each volume of the series is here, and their rune gods on the back, along with their seals. And the art really has a chance to sing in this format. You can pore over every minute detail of Clamp's brilliant draftsmanship. The best part is that we also included the art books. So those are now available in this hardcover format. And not only are they full of this incredible color art, there's also in each of them a beautiful gatefold in the back. So that's it. A modern shoujo classic in a form that I'm very happy to give pride of place to on my shelf. Glad I could be along for the ride. And I'm looking forward to a lot more. Thanks very much, and have a great rest of your day, week, month, and year reading manga.
Yo, that was pretty cool. That all the manga editor has something to say about the Clamp titles, and they also all seems to be very personally invested into or be a big fan of the Clamp series. So like kind of, it's really nice to know that people behind and making the books are really into the series as well. So as they have all, the editors has mentioned, the Kodansha has been publishing the newest and maybe the prettiest collector's editions of the classic Clamp series, and we're slowly but surely building our library to be the home of Clamp. So I hope you get around to check out some of them, and hopefully we'll have some more titles in the near future. All right, so let's take a quick break real quick. And before we go on a break though, I want to ask you who is watching this episode, what is your favorite Clamp manga? I think I see a lot of name droppings in the chat, but yeah, definitely would like to know, like, what is your favorite Clamp title, or what was your starting series was. So please write in your chat, and I'll be right back. And welcome back to the show. Hey. I see a lot of Clamp fans in the chat talking to each other. This is pretty amazing. So today I have mentioned that we have some announcements related to Clamp, and so here goes nothing. I'm happy to tell you about the Clamp Oracle cards, which is an exclusive offer for this holiday season from Rightstuf. This special card deck features 15 amazing art by Clamp Sensei, and each card has its own light and dark meaning that you can see it here. And I also wanted to tell you that we have kind of soft launched the Oracle card over the Thanksgiving, but it sold out in a matter of seconds. Well, maybe not a matter of seconds, but like within a few days. So I'm happy to tell you that that the Oracle cards are now back in stock, and it's now available at rightstufanime.com. And all you have to do is to buy any Clamp manga from Kodansha at Rightstuf. And you can also see all the details and descriptions of the cards at kodanshacomics.com/Clamp Oracle cards. So if you don't have the cards just yet, we have the descriptions available on our website. So I'm kind of big on the kind of like fortune tellings and tarot card readings and oracle card readings, but in order to do this right, I need a help of a buddy. So I reached out to my coworker Ivan, who did a card reading for me. So please take a look at this video. What's up, Ivan?
What's up, Misaki?
Hey, so you're like the nearest witchy guy, or like wise man, I should say.
Oh.
And when I heard about the Clamp Oracle card, I definitely wanted to talk to you about how to use it. So today I would like to go through the Clamp Oracle card reading with you. Would you do the honor of doing the reading for me?
Of course.
When I come across new Oracle cards, I usually like to kind of get familiarize myself with the whole deck. So I think probably the best place to start would be to find out what is my archetype within the Oracle deck of Clamp Oracle cards. Would you do that reading for me?
Yeah, of course. Real quick off the bat, and I'm not sure like how many folks who have received the Oracle cards have like played around with things like Oracle cards and tarot decks in the past. It's all like fairly easy and like really kind of based on intuition. So there's no right way to do it. So for finding out what character you are like among the amazing art that exists in the deck. I think that would work well for a single card pull. And what I mean by single card pulls is that we're just going to be taking one card out of the deck. And this is actually something really helpful to do like as a daily read. Nice. You can sort of like, if you want to say like, hey, how's your day going to look? It's possible to sort of shuffle the cards, shuffle the decks, and then just pull a single card, look up the meaning, and then that'll give you a little bit of window on, how your day or week or something like that is going to look. But it's just a very easy thing to do as a daily practice. And yeah, it doesn't require like a whole lot of time and shuffling and setup. We'll see that like my hands like might have a fancy looking setup. Honestly, you could just do it on a table. You could do it on a book. You could do it on anything, whatever. On a book. Whatever way you can do the reads that gives you the sense of, is this true? Is this, what's coming up in your life? That's the most important part.
How you connect to the card.
Exactly. So I'm going to do a quick shuffle.
Yes, please.
And right now we're talking about what archetype of the Clamp Oracle cards is Misaki most closely related to?
I ain't gonna lie, I love all the characters by Clamp, so it's good that it's not my personal choice, but it's chosen from the card.
Right. All right. So for this particular read, I'm just going to pull from the top from how I shuffled.
Okay.
And the reading shows up as the Soulbound.
Soulbound, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So what's it called? What's great is that if folks have received the Oracle card decks, there's on the list of Oracle cards that come with the pack, there's a QR code. If folks zoom in on that QR code, it'll take them directly to a website where we've written out the meanings for the Clamp Oracle cards, both in a kind of like shorthand or like keywords for upright and reversed, as well as like longer descriptions. So it's, you know, it's neat to have like full descriptions.
Nice.
So let's look at what the Soulbound says. For upright, since that's how it appeared,
Nice.
we're gonna, the keywords for it are learn and grow from someone new or yourself. So I'm not gonna read the full description. I think like folks can go to the website and view the full ones, but I'm gonna pull a couple of things from it that feel like it resonates. And with the definitions and how you read them in your own life, I think it's really important to, if something really hits home to you, that's what should be focused on. Because I think like whatever you connect with, again, like you were saying, however you connect best with the cards, that's what's, you know, the helpful message that you should take away from these Oracle decks.
Okay.
So let's see. Soulbound card is an indicator that someone has entered your life that is more than just a chance encounter. There's a cosmic significance in this, and in them, mirror soul, twin flame, whatever you want to call it. You've encountered someone you're meant to learn from and grow with, even if only for a little while. And as unbelievable as it might be, that cosmic person might be yourself. So I'm going to kind of stop there because I think that that's the thing that I wanted to focus on in terms of the Soulbound and as it pertains to you particularly. Misaki, I know that you're a person that does a lot of work in meditation and sort of going into your inner life. Yeah. And I think that as a Soulbound, although it might sound like it usually refers to someone else, I like to think of some of these cards as really talking about you yourself as another person. So I think for me, what the Soulbound means, especially as it pertains to your archetype, is that you're learning a lot from yourself, especially in the times that you know, go into your deep meditations, that you almost become a different person that you're communicating with. And that I think that you're entering in a time where really paying attention to what that other sort of meditative person is saying will really serve you right now. So I think that's the meaning that I get, that your sort of inner spiritual self is starting to grow, and I think it's someone worthy to listen to and you know, to power your day-to-day going forward.
Oh wow, that is fantastic. Because like I was thinking, like, you know, we've been in a kind of a quarantine situation for quite some time, and I haven't really met anybody new per se. But I have been meditating extensively on a daily basis. And what it really came down to was, you know, what really hit me, rang a bell in my head, was that sometimes I do have to treat myself as if I'm like my own friend. So like, you know, if I'm beating myself over like some mistake that I made or something, I wouldn't like kick a person down to the ground if it was my friend. I shouldn't do that to myself either. So it's definitely a good reminder that you know, to treat myself as in such way. And I guess it's also kind of nice to know that you by yourself is not missing anything. You're a complete person. In some cases, like, you know, Sakura and Shaoran, they're kind of like, you know, symbolic, you know, characters of like a two destined, like soulbound people who countlessly come across each other within like the world of Clamp. But in real, the possibility that person could be you, that actually kind of opens up a big door for like me, I think.
Yeah, and I think that there are other instances in the Oracle deck where we've talked about the relationship with yourself. And I think sometimes when people do things like read through divination decks, coming across cards like the Lovers or something like that, I think it's easy to jump to conclusions that those cards mean that it's someone else or someone that's going to enter your life and stuff like that. But I think it's a much more enriching idea to think of it as like, maybe it's you, maybe you're the one that falls in love with yourself, or you're the one that learns something from yourself. Because I think that can be a very powerful idea when it's sometimes folks believe that they're not enough,
That's too bad.
Right?
Yeah, sometimes I kind of do think in such ways too, but you have to kind of be again kind of nurturing to yourself by accepting who you are as you are, and not to look for that thing that you're missing outside of yourself. Yeah, that's a very good reading, actually. Insightful, I should say. So that's my archetype, huh? I never guessed.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, I'll ask you something maybe more specific to what's going on right now. Or actually, let's say, like I work in manga for like almost 10 years now. And then like, since I was little, I was always drawn to manga. And like, therefore I am like doing what I'm doing right now. I still love manga too. But like, sometimes I do wonder, like, why is like manga a reoccurring thing in my life? And like, what is the lesson that I should be learning and applying to my life? Like, why am I so like, again, like soul bound to manga?
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting question. So, why is Misaki soul bound to manga?
I'm very curious.
Yeah. So let's see. Up. And for this one, I've shuffled a bit, and I'm going to take the top 3 cards.
Okay.
Let's see what they say.
Wow.
Main Fall, the Fool, and the Heroine. Right. Okay, so here's what came out from this shuffle. The way that I'm going to do the reading this time, if you look at the different kind of cards that came with the Oracle deck, one of them actually gives an example of a kind of read that you can do, and it usually the 3-card spread can mean a lot of things, but the way that we've described it in the Oracle card set is past, present, and future. That's one of the basic things that you could do with any tarot deck, any Oracle deck, that sort of thing. And of course, there are tons of other kind of reads and spreads that you can do, just looking online and seeing what resonates with you. There have actually been some really cool like meme format reads, which I think are hilarious. And I've actually adopted one to start using with like friends and myself. But that's I'll share it with you later, Misaki. But yeah, okay. It's pretty fun. So let's start from the beginning. Since I'm working on a kind of past, present, and future, I think that was kind of the important way to take it, because you have been working in manga and have had manga as part of your life for a very long time. All your life. And so I do think that it's important to sort of look at this through a past, present, and future format, because it'll give us a glimpse as to why you were initially attracted to manga, and then what in your present keeps you going through it, and then how it will lead you in the future. Okay. So with the first card, we pulled the Maiden of Fall. And the keywords for that are in the upright format. It says, time of difficult emotions, let go and trust that the sun will shine again. And so to me, that reads that manga for you in the past may have been a kind of escape. That it was, maybe it was a way that manga let you see a sun that was shining in a time that might have been difficult, or that really got you out of the difficult emotions or difficult feelings that you were facing. And so that could be a reason why you initially started getting to manga as this kind of bright escape that gave you a lot of like good feelings.
Whoa, that hits home really hard, dude. So when I first moved to the US, like I didn't speak any English, right? So like I was just learning how to speak English, and it was a difficult time because I couldn't communicate. And one of the ways that I kind of kept my sanity was by like reading manga. That was like one way that I can connect back to like where I was from, like Japan. And also, you know, like you're seeing kind of familiar faces within the pages. So it was definitely a way for me to kind of like when I was feeling very homesick, that was like my go-to place, even though it's manga as an object, but definitely helped me through some of the very difficult times. So yeah, it hits the bell. Yeah, I would like to hear a little bit more about this.
Yeah, of course. So in the present position, which is the middle card, we have pulled the Fool. And yeah,
that's me.
Upright in the present position, the keywords are indulgent play, manifest good times for yourself.
Oh yeah.
So where I think you know, coming from the past, the main of all, let manga be a way to escape for you. In the present, you have been able to sort of hold on to manga and made a career out of it. But whereas like maybe some folks would have taken that to be like, oh, now I hate manga because it's my job or something.
No. Yeah, that's the worst.
I feel like you've taken your job and constantly turn the ways to promote manga and sort of get excited about manga as a very playful way to do it. So in your present form of the Fool, you are sort of manifesting these good times and fun videos and cool promotions because of how much you've loved manga your entire life. And so you have taken this approach of play to manga, where some people might have just gone it like, oh, just another job now. So that's what I see with the Fool in the present place.
This job never really feels like a job. I'm just like constantly talking to friends like everywhere about the manga that I just really love. Like, every manga that I read, I find something that I love about it. Once I find something about it, like I just want to talk to somebody about it. So basically it's, like eventually what was job is turning into kind of my field to play, it feels like. And it's actually very fun.
Completely agree. And now we're going to take a look at the heroine in the future position, which is the third card that was pulled. Now, in upright, the keywords are unmitigated passion and inspiration, as well as tapping into the divine feminine. I'm going to focus on the first two parts because I think that the way manga might be transforming for you in the future is that you're able to take your passion and excitement for manga to sort of keep coming up with new ways to enjoy it. I think that that's what it might be saying as something to look out for in the future, that maybe hold on to as much of your present, which is making manga about play and how you work about play, because that'll give you the feeling of, continued passion for it. And it'll keep inspiring you to sort of like, interact with it in new ways or get excited about it in new ways. I've seen you get excited for a new series that we've come out. And I think all of that comes from just the sort of way you felt about manga in the past, where is this a new escape? Is this a new way for me to discover a world that makes me feel good and makes me excited? Will it let me play with it so that I can help, promote it or, make your job not feel like a job, but more like, another way of play. And that good feeling for the future is just going to keep you invested, keep you passionate, and just give you constant inspiration for, I think, not only for work, but just for your life in general.
Wow. I mean, that really kind of does make sense too, though, because Even the last part of it too, like that also actually caught my attention, the divine feminine. Because I don't look at it as just a gender thing, but it's also kind of like a big, wide kindness that reaches to as many people. And this is something that I discovered through manga. Like starting to read manga, start to talk to people like on social media and stuff, and realizing how much people care about certain, characters or mangas, made me open up to my mind to say like, hey, there's like a lot of people like out there that I can connect with, like from heart to heart. So that was a big door opener. I thought it was just like one person thing that I'm continuously doing, just reading manga, but it actually turned into opening the door of compassion to like a more wider audience, like the people that I have never seen before. And then this actually does keep me going on the adventure in the manga. So that is becoming my main drive. And then that was my gut feeling before.
Gotcha.
Because of this reading, it makes me feel like that's definitely for sure.
Yeah.
It's a way to bring me back to this reality.
Yeah, I think so. And it just seems like manga is a very important part of your life that has been a part of you forever. And I think focusing on it and seeing the ways that it feeds you is something important to hold on to, like as you keep going in manga.
Well, this is actually very cool to hear that, I'm growing with manga. So it's, something that happened past, and then like currently I feel like I'm in a really good place. And then there's, some more to give in the future. So looking forward to that. Speaking of kind of future forward looking, we're coming to the end of 2020. It's been a heck of a year for a lot of us, I think. And then end of the year is when I actually start to wonder about next year and start to look into, fortunes and stuff. So I want to ask you and Clamp Oracle cards, like what should I concentrate and look forward to in 2021, next year?
Yeah. What should Misaki focus on for 2021?
2021. Hope it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. We're all hoping it's gonna be, or at least a better one. Let's do this and this. Okay. So, because it's talking about specifically next year, there's a kind of fun meme format of tarot reading that a friend of mine, Jaslyn Stone, recently sent me that I think is an absolutely perfect one. We'll push it a little bit. Yeah. And some folks might know this meme from several things on the internet, where the basic format is the dude, like an example of this might be in the one position, the dude might be me. In the two position, it might be all the books that I still have to read. And in the three position is brand new books.
I'm stuck between those two.
But like I think that this actually works as a really cool oracle card, divination card deck, because the one position where it's the dude can be your sort of like current energies or what current state you're in right now. The two position could be something that the universe is trying to make you aware of, that you are turning away to for the three position, which could be a distraction. Now, we'll see how the cards end up, but I think another way to also read this is that, I think one thing that folks, from the internet discovered is that both women in this photo are the same model.
What? No way.
Yeah, I believe that's the case.
That's so good.
And so what that means to me cosmically is then that the three position and two position are sort of two halves of the same coin. Whereas maybe you're being asked to strike a balance between the 3 and the 2 to sort of, propel you forward and, keep you on an even keel. It's not maybe focusing on one more than the other, but, figuring out where you can divide your energies to really, accomplish the things that you want to do. So we'll
balancing on anything is like the hardest challenge in life. Like, how much of this chocolate can I eat before it's going overboard?
Yeah, right. Before I get that. So let's see what the cards say. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So what I find fascinating, and folks might see this happen as they do more readings with cards, if you do a couple in succession, you might have some that are reoccurring. So interesting enough, like for you, Misaki, what is in the 1 position is the Fallen Paladin, which I believe is from Clover. And then in the 2 position, it's the Maiden of Fall.
Yeah.
And in the 3 position is the Soulbound.
Again.
Yeah, again. So I mean, both for you, the Maiden of Fall and the Soulbound were reoccurring cards in like previous reads.
Oh wow! You're really trying to tell me something.
Yeah. So let's see what the Fallen Paladin says. Again, for this particular read, the center card is going to be a representation of maybe where you're at right now. So in the upright position with keywords, again, the descriptions from the website that you can get from the QR code on the list of Oracle cards. This says in the upright position, act with decisive purpose, reflect on your immediate goals, power to act on your own objectives. So that showing up in the U position, I think in this particular reading, we can also look at the reversed meaning.
Yes, please.
Because like, if we're talking about the idea of balance, oftentimes we're not all good. And, there are things that we can learn from. So I think in this particular read, it's good to learn what are maybe some of the quote unquote negative or
shadows.
Yeah, exactly. And I personally don't work a lot with reversed cards. I'm still learning, and so sometimes it throws a wrench in my readings. And so I was like, all right, let's just stick to the upright, just to make things easy for myself.
I'm open to both interpretations.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Fallen Paladin in reversed, which again, so you also have the full meanings as well as the keyword meanings like on the website and the QR code. So in the reverse position, it says, look at the greater picture, take a break, step back, clear your head. So
nice.
I think in the U position or in the 1 position for this particular read, when we talk about what should be looked ahead for 2021, I think that it might be asking you to, when things come up to you in the next year that are asking you to make decisions, it's asking you to, really have a clear vision going into 2021 for what you want out of the year. Because you might be presented with some questions about, what's good for you, or, say an opportunity comes up and you're asked to make a choice. By coming into the year with clear intentions of like what you want for it, you'll be better equipped to make the decisions that work best for you. At the same time, the Fallen Paladin in reverse talks a lot about being myopically focused on things, or getting lost
Guilty
in the
of it.
Yeah. So I think that the Fallen Paladin in the 1 position for this particular read spread format talks about being aware of that might be a danger for this coming new year. That it might be a time where you're asked to make a lot of decisions, but don't let that make you get lost in the work. I think the Fallen Paladin in reverse talks a lot about getting lost in the weeds and then losing sight of what the greater picture of things are. So if we borrow a little bit from the last read and believe that your future in manga depends on your ability to, gain enjoyment from it. I think in this particular read, it's asking that, don't lose sight of how much enjoyment you get out of manga. And
Never.
Yeah. So that's what's asking you in terms of what energy might be coming to you in 2021.
That is super important though, because the last thing that I really don't want is that with having a doubt to myself with did I make a right decision or not. And when I go through this rabbit hole, I start to second guess myself quite a bit. Ultimately, I come back to the original idea, which is like, for example, in this case, I love manga. Being told from someone or from the oracle card to don't lose sight of that particular anchor point, it kind of actually gives me a little bit of relief going into 2021.
So now, moving beyond from the Fallen Paladin, we're going to go into the 2 position, which I think in this meme format, as silly as it might be, I think it's fun. All the interpretations that it could be, whereas the guy in the 1 position is turning away from whatever it is in the 2 position, which in this case is the Maiden of Fall, which again, if we're going to go through the keyword meanings for this particular card, it's time of difficult emotions, let go, trust the sun will shine again. And if we're going into 2021, I think something that might be on a lot of people's minds is just, are we going to get out of this quarantine? Are we going to get out of, this time of lockdowns and, not seeing anybody for fear of, getting sick? I think that the 2021 might still have a lot of that. And I think it might be very easy to just believe that, nothing is going to change. Even with a vaccine on the way soon, or, additional help. It could be very easy to just say, it's winter, it's sad, there might be a lot more infections or a lot more people getting sick. We're never going to get out of this, and, just being down about the future. Where I think in this case, the fact that you yourself are turning away from that might be a kind of good thing, or just a general reminder that, if you're asked to believe that trust that the sun will shine again, it's to, constantly hold hope that, although times are going to be difficult, that the sun will shine again, as the card says. So I think that there are times in 2021 that you might feel down or really stuck in these sort of dark cloud feelings. In this particular read, I think the fact that the dude in the 1 position is turning away from that, is asking you to don't get too stuck when those bad feelings come up. I think focusing on, again, as we talked about, the ways that manga can feed you, I think that is remained a constant in your life. And so when these times of the greater world turmoil start to invade your brain, maybe focusing on a little bit of that, or whatever the 3 position is, which is the quote unquote distraction. Yeah. But in this case, I think it's something that is attracting your eye more in 2021, or is asking you to focus on it. So if we look at what the 3 position is, which in the meme is what is distracting you in the 1 position, it's the soulbound. And as we've talked about it before in the previous read, the soulbound is kind of talking about a time of, deep intuitive reflection, learning to grow from someone. And in the reads past, we talked about learning to grow from yourself. You said that you're entering a time where you're sort of starting to do more reflection, starting to get more insight from your meditation. So I think that in this particular read, it's asking you to, stay on that path. That it might be a way for you to break out of the difficult times of 2021 that might still be on the way. That when you can't quite feel the sun shining, turn inward, turn to your inner light, turn to all the things that you can learn from yourself and your reflections, because where the fallen paladin, I think there's a danger of working very hard but also getting too locked into the work.
Oh.
The fact that the Soulbound and the Maidenfall are on opposite sides, it's saying that in order to not get too stuck in the work, lean on yourself and your inner reflections. And that the work can sometimes help get you out of, dark feelings or dark times, but that those dark times could make you myopically focused on the work. So it's one of those things where constantly being aware that the reflections you make that the Soulbound suggests are gonna help you not only have a clear focus for what you want out of next year, but will help you from getting too mired in your work and losing sight of what your goals are. Still, we're with the Maidenfall, we're still seeing a little bit of dark times ahead, but like I've said and how the card has said, trust that the sun will shine again.
That's a really deep one because I do, when I really pay attention to what I'm feeling right now, I do get kind of sucked into the dark side of what everything is. But somebody once did tell me, there's no rain that doesn't stop. So at some point things will change. We just don't know when it's coming. Until then, we do the things we can do in this case, such as focusing, turning the light inwards, or sometimes as little, things like doing the work that I can do given the current situation. The card number 2 actually also reminds me not to look away from the harsh reality, just that is also reality, and don't deny it, but then to keep a good balance between going too dark into that rabbit hole is to anchor myself into focusing onto myself, just looking really more, investigating into who I am and what I can do to kind of contribute into the current situation. So and I guess the decisiveness part is the part that still kind of intimidates me, but between those two things, it's okay to struggle between those, the difficult aspects and focusing on myself, and the constant struggle will probably make me grow hopefully, and to be helpful to other people maybe.
Yep.
I'll keep that in mind. That's really, really good.
Yeah. And I've mentioned that there are all sorts of ways to read these cards, and all sorts of interpretations from the pages that we got. And I think that the idea is, like I mentioned before, figure out what resonates most with you when these cards show up. I think you'll be able to find something, and like I mentioned, if some cards repeat, it could be that it's asking you to look closely at them, or think about really hard, how does this connect with you, if you initially think that there's no connection there.
Yeah, those two cards, Soulbound and also Maidenfall, appear twice. That's kind of a sign that I should probably pay attention to those aspects maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think it also is a kind of confirmation that we're specifically talking about the things that you're asking.
Nice.
I think is always something fun to read into these cards. Right now, I've been doing a read for you, and where I think that differs from doing a read from yourself is that you know yourself when you're doing a read, and so can see when things resonate. But when you're doing a read for somebody else, you might want to ask them, it's hey, does this connect, or things like that? Because sometimes you might find that these cards are actual confirmations of things that people are going through. And I think that one of the fun things about these divination cards, especially if you're doing them with, friends, is that it allows an avenue for just conversations of, stuff that people might be, some tough times that people may be going through, but may not have thought to open up about otherwise. So.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, just you're kind of doing that to me right now. And so even though we're doing this through video chat, but it still feels like that connection of human interaction is there. It's just I've been missing, I feel like, all year round. So like I really appreciate you doing this reading with me. It's way more than what I can imagine doing it myself. And also I learned like a different way of doing readings, such as this, like the meme tarot, the reading style. I never knew about it. So thank you so much for showing that to me. That was really, really cool. I highly recommend it to the viewers who are watching this episode to definitely team up with your buddy to do these readings. It's kind of a very special moment that we just had on this call. So thank you so much, Ivan, and I really appreciate you appearing on the show to do this reading with me today.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you. Any last words for the audience?
I guess just have fun with these cards. See the kinds of things that they tell you, and like I said, if cards come up, 2-3 times, it might be something to really reflect on.
Pay attention. Will do. Thank you so much. You're definitely my go-to wise man from now on. All right. See you later.
Later.
Yo, that was pretty cool. Thank you, Ivan, for doing the readings, and also to those people who threw some questions to be read on the oracle card in the chat. We were responding to you in the chat as well as on Twitter, so please take a look at that. And here's one more question here's one more announcement that might make you happy for the holiday season, which is that we're doing a special giveaway in courtesy of our friends at Rightstuf Anime, that some of these books that you see on here are up for grab, plus the oracle card itself as well. I don't say this too often in the show, but then we actually send the prizes to international fans as well. So it's if you're not from the US region, here's a chance for you to grab the Kodansha USA edition of the Clamp manga, as well as the Clamp Oracle card. Let's see, let's take a look at the chat. There's a lot of conversation between the fans. Thank you for being very respectful to each other. I like it when the fans are talking to each other. I just want to recognize that there are a lot of fans from like all over the world that joined this episode today, and it's very fantastic to see. I see some fans from Brazil and fans from Mexico. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who didn't give a shout out to where you're from, but I appreciate you joining the chat. Hopefully you will do some more in the future. Thank you. Somebody says love the hat. What's up? And let's see. I saw some a lot of mentions about some of the Clamp mangas that we have been publishing, but I also see like ones like some shout outs about X1999. I think that's a lot of like a starter manga, Clamp manga for a lot of you out there. And as far as I know, it has like the biggest cliffhanger of the century, so to speak. That's so everybody is waiting for. Hopefully we'll have some news about it in the future, but not today. When we asked for your favorite Clamp manga, just kind of chat went pretty crazy. and it was very hard to tackle. But then, you know, a lot of people gave shout out to HOLiC, Tsubasa, which is some of my favorite clamp titles as well. Oh, and I see a lot of shout outs here from Brazil, Texas, California, and so forth. So I appreciate you guys hanging out until the end. And that's it for this year. This is probably going to be the last episode of Kodansha Live in 2020. Maybe we'll have one more before the end of the year. We'll let you know. But we will... Oh, Clamp School Detectives. For real, dude? That's really cool. Sorry, I'm just kind of geeking out on the side looking at the chat. What was I saying? Okay, so I'm hoping to come back to Kodansha Live with you know, more powered up next year. So I hope to see you all once again in 2020. Until then, see you later and have a nice holiday season. Peace.